Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Dad, we're gonna look back on the Millwall game and the season so far in this video today, guys. So, Dad, what are you using?
Well, first of all, thank you everybody for tuning in. Something, Dan. I was so disappointed Saturday at Millwall. First, it was a fantastic day out. The only thing that spoilt it was the blooming football, which is crazy, isn't it? The Millwall fans welcomed us with open arms, didn't they? It was lovely to see our old friend Kenny. I thought the journey there on the train, ace. All the local hostilities were brilliant. Nice to catch up with some friendly faces, old and new. And then we start the game. And Dan, from the word go to the end of the match, we just weren't at it. We were comprehensively beaten with some wonder goals, and I just thought that every single one of them, but let us down. They let themselves down, let the club down. I can't put my finger on it. I just thought that I was thinking about this even this morning. We need leaders on the pitch. We need a leader, two leaders, someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. It comes to something when certainly for the first half, Jed Wallace was the best player. But other than that, Dan, I don't think there's any positives. I think that I'm going to have to put it down, as I said in the vlog, as a bad day in the office. But for me, that's unacceptable. And that is what you get when you experiment with different players. I think that Mason, he's certainly got my backing. He's doing a lot of things right, but he's doing a lot of things wrong. He needs to agree on his best 11 and he needs to put players in their proper positions and he needs to drill them and drill them and drill them because on Saturday we look void of any confidence, we look shattered, and it's not the Albion that I've come to expect under Mason. And so far under Mason, we've seen the good, the bad, and the damn right ugly on Saturday.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said there, Dad, actually. Well said, actually. Um, but on the game itself, I feel we made changes where I think it was needed. I think many people have said on the channel, and I think in the game actually, why didn't we start Madger? And I can see why he didn't start Madger. Madger realistically wasn't going to be fully fit. He's only just come back from a long-term injury. And don't get me wrong, he scored a goal in midweek against Norwich, but I definitely couldn't see him starting just because Hegbo realistically was the main man up top, be the physicality against Cooper and whoever was
Yeah,
at the back for Mill. And I can just
yeah.
justify Mason done that. And I think Collier also came into the side, who there was a lot of positive praise about him, saying that he can really show up for these teams like Mill, for example. And again, he went really quiet, I thought, Dad. I think the change that he actually brought in, I thought Styles as well, he was a bit weak in the game, I thought. And I think for the Aziz goal itself, I thought it was criminal the fact that Aziz wants to always go on the inside, but he didn't even show him the outside. So every time he showed him the inside, which he loves doing, Aziz, he scores a goal 2-0, and that pretty much put the game to bed. But overall, as a team, I thought again, I don't know why we dropped Sammy Illing Jr. I thought he really offered
Oh,
something.
Jack
Saying
stole my thunder then. Yeah, I'm sorry to put it in there. Absolutely agree with that.
no, and then I think, as you said, Jed played really, really well. Don't get me wrong, but why are we playing Jed centrally and playing Isaac Price on the wing? Because it clearly wasn't working, and you can pretty much see from Price's form at this moment in time, Dad, that it isn't really working with him on the wing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the point you make with him Junior is fantastic. I thought that at match day and all week afterwards. I think with Madja, I can understand what they're doing. They're probably treating him with kid gloves because if he goes out injured again, we've got no real recognised strikers. So I can understand what they're doing with him. But with the rest of the team, I mean, what's happened to Isaac Price, Dan?
I think it's got to be a
Where,
different form at the moment. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not going to always keep the form at the start of the season, scoring two or three goals and a couple of assists every couple of games. Don't get me wrong. But I do feel like while he's not showing up or being at that top level that he was, and he's not going to be, some other players need to step up, and we didn't see that at all. The only person I could really say that stood up was Jed and Ollie Bostock, the youngster who came off the bench, Dad.
Yeah, I agree. We was on about that on the train journey home, weren't we? Yeah, he's got something to offer us. But I think it was one of them games whereby the majority of players were below par, and you just can't afford that. Mikey Johnson showed flashes of good, and then he went under the radar.
I
Malumbi,
think we'll come on to that in a minute about Mo actually. But before I say about Mo, I've got to swap Mikey Johnson because, in my opinion, he has probably been one of our better performers this season because he shows a bit of quality here and there, and he's got an assist more to his game this season. And he also scored that worldie against Portsmouth. But what I would say about Mikey, that is so frustrating. He takes one player on, He takes another player on, and all of a sudden he goes back in for round two and loses the ball. And you think to yourself, as soon as you go past two players, lay it off and then make a wide run and make more space for other players. Because
Yeah.
again, I think he's got more to give, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a touch of the old sick note, Matt Phillips. Matt Phillips used to do that, and you used to think to yourself, all right, you've made your point, just get that ball across. It's not all about you. So, yeah, I do agree with that. I'm just really disappointed, Dan, because we've come to expect more from the Albion. Admittedly, yes, it's work in progress. Yes, Ryan Mason's cutting his teeth. But somebody said to me the other day, but so is the Middlesbrough manager. And I'm thinking, all right, we'll give him time. But you know something, Dan, that was simply, in my eyes, not acceptable. And if the Albion had anything about them, they'd give the Albion fans the money back for the ticket because they didn't show up and we were embarrassed. And it's quite frightening to think when we're out and about in the centre of London talking to the Millwall lads that they thought they were going to be on the wrong end of a tanking.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You know what? It just beggars belief. And right from the off, they just weren't at it, were they? I said to you, they looked absolutely knackered to me. And I think
Yeah.
that, you know, something I've been thinking, I hope we're not going to turn into one of these teams that if everything's going good, everybody turns up and they play lovely football. But when it don't go for them, they need to dig in, dig deep, and find that extra bit. And I'll tell you something that concerns me greatly is that Mason, under let's just say your old pal Carlos Corberán, at half time he would have laid into them, and you see a change when they come out. I'm not going to dig him out just yet, but whatever he said to him at half time, it didn't work because they came out and they're even worse.
Yeah, no, they were,
I
weren't
mean,
they?
Dan, for 2,000 travelling Albion fans to the central London and the money we all spent, you expect a bit more, don't you?
You did, and your big shout out to everyone, by the way, like I say about in London. I thought the quality supporters were always there. But I've got to mention to you, Dad, about people have been mentioning, and I think I actually completely agree because I think he's one of the players who are underrated because I think people see his quality, but not all the time. And I think that player is Alex Mowatt. I think we really, really missed him against Millwall. We brought in a youthful player in Collier. I don't think he showed up, but maybe with a Mowatt in the team, we could have performed better in that midfield. And it showed, I thought, when he came on, we had more authority about us in that second half. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts? And
yeah,
yours in the comments, guys.
it's so frustrating because you look at the team, you look at the individuals. I mean, Mepham last night for Wales, I think he gave a good account of himself. But I just think that we've got so many players in that team, Dan, who are fresh, they're young, they've got something to offer, they're experienced, they know better than that. I mean, if it was the old guard, and I hate to say things like this, under Furlong, bloody Carl Bartley and co, they would have just caved in and the manager would probably lose the dressing room eventually. But we're going to have to all agree and say, right, we'll put it down as a bad day at the office, but we cannot have many more of them, obviously. And I think it just shows to me that Ryan Mason, yeah, he's an extremely good coach.
Mm.
Tactical wise, he's ace, but I think he just needs somebody somewhere to assist him. I mean, that team, Dan, did they show any fight for you?
I don't think they did. I think we realistically, one player who really described the game to me was Isaac Price. Offered nothing. When he had the ball, offered nothing. I'm not going to put any blame on him because he was saying his fault because it wasn't. But he just annoyed me every time a player's got so much about him, offered nothing in the game. And this is what I wanted to question you and the viewers, Dad, was the fact that is it the fact that we play Norwich midweek, long journey, then Millwall long journey. Is it having that effect on the players? Because, of course, I'm not going to say it is because I don't know. But Millwall, for example, played at home in the midweek against Coventry, got battered, and then played at home again. We were all across the country and whatnot. And Ryan Mason has said it, and they're saying that might, affect the performance. Is it that, or do you think that? I know you said that we'll put it back as a bad result against Millwall. Is it going to be a blip? Or is it going to be like a problem towards it? We're going to keep going and going and going, just like the performances week in, week out, where we win one game and then perform like that.
I think you make an extremely good comment there, and I've been thinking that there is that about it. I totally agree with that. But don't forget, unlike the supporters, Dan, they're travelling in luxury, they're at the top hotels. I mean, admittedly, what we've done Norwich, we've done Millwall, we've got up at God knows what time and gone to bed really late, and it affects us. So yes, of course, it's going to impact the players, but I don't think they can use that all the time because it's the
No.
same for many other clubs. And I do think the fixture list does need looking at. I mean, let's just say we've been up to Middlesbrough, we've been up to Norwich, we've
But
been
you
up to
think about it,
Rotherham.
Dad. Sorry to put in, but we've got Preston coming up next. We should do a preview on next week, guys. And then we've got Watford midweek, And then we got Ipswich.
Yeah, I know, but listen, Dan, they're professional footballers. I mean, it doesn't matter how much they get paid. That their fit. I think their fitness levels sometimes come into question. I do agree. I do agree what you say. Yeah, the fixture list is absolutely punishing, but it's the same for everybody else. I think you have got something with the fact that Coventry played two home games on the bounce. Yeah, obviously,
Millwall.
but I mean Millwall. Sorry, because I can't get it out of my head, and this is my biggest worry about going to Coventry Coventry Millwall was the fact that Coventry gave them a good hiding. And I
Yeah,
thought, you know what, it's going to go two ways. This is either they're going to spank us or they'll just collapse. And crikey, it backfired on us spectacular, didn't they? They handed our backsides to us on a plate. So I think there's a lot to do with the travelling. Yep, totally agree with that fixture list. I think there's a lot to do with we were on the wrong end of, let's just say, hiding because they needed to produce
yeah,
Millwall.
didn't they?
Otherwise,
The
it
fans
would
get
have
that
been
back.
problematic for the manager. And I think that showed from the get go. They were first to the balls, the second balls they were there. They showed energy, commitment, desire, everything that we've come to expect of the new Albion regime. So I just can't understand it. But I think looking at the positives, he's got the international break now. If I was him, I'd play that game on the big screen and say to the players, explain that to me. We're not that team on the training ground. We're far better than this. So what went wrong? Are you not up to it? Do you not want to turn up on match days? I think there's too many players that went missing. And we,
Yeah.
like you said earlier, Dan, Pricey, I think he's been outstanding. We can't expect him to dig us
Have we
out.
run him into the ground too much, Dad?
Yeah, I think we probably have. Ellen Junior's got an awful lot to offer, Dan. And I just think that, you know what, I'm going to say, because I promised myself I wouldn't lose it today, is that I'm going to accept it, write it off as a bad defeat.
Okay.
It's early doors. It's early doors, Dan.
Because of course,
Still
what
love,
annoys me
hey,
is you've got
still
go on.
love the Albion. Still love the Albion. Always will. It was brilliant to see Frankie at half time and a lot of the old faces. I love the
Shout out
Albion,
to
Dan.
Millwall Kenny. Hope he got home safe.
Yeah, I hope we didn't get a taking off the missus, Kenny. And some of the other Millwall lads were out. But tell you something, Dan.
Go on.
Just because we spend lots of money and we travel here, there, and everywhere, it doesn't mean we're going to win every game, does it? So
No,
we've got to
exactly.
support.
All we
We've got
ask
to
for is
support the
fight
lads.
and passion.
Yeah,
That's what we
fight,
really want.
spirit, desire, commitment. Come on, lads.
I mean, Dad, before we go on about the season as a whole and ask your thoughts on that, we haven't really spoke about the Norwich game much. I mean, there's been a contrast in views. Our views were from Norwich that we played really, really well. And we got a 1-0 win, dug in, really got a good result. Happy days, we go home happy. But other people are saying that it was a real poor performance and they're not surprised by Millwall because it was two bad performances and we were lucky to get the win at Norwich. I want to know your thoughts on that and the views at home as well.
No, I disagree with that. I thought it was a brilliant performance. I thought that all right, there was always that threat that Sargent could get a goal, and going into the 90th minute, there was always that threat that we would cave in like we always do and give a silly goal away. I think, but collectively, I thought they were outstanding. I thought the keeper played an
Yeah,
absolute blinder. There's
didn't
no
he?
two ways about it. Yeah, he dug us out of it big time. But two man, I thought they played ace. Stand difficult place to go. I mean, I haven't seen us win there in a few years,
No, a
but
long, long time. So, because
yeah,
I'm
but
interested to see why people thought it was. I can see why people thought it was a bad performance, just because we did give away a lot of shots to Norwich. And to be fair, Josh Chris did dig us out holes many, many a times. But overall, I thought it was off the ball we were brilliant. I thought on the ball, the counter attacks. This is what frustrates me, Dad. We're playing sometimes possession of football, and when we play that type of football, we don't win games. When we play the counter attacking football, we win these games. So realistically, you've got to find a balance between both, haven't you?
yeah, I agree with that. I think that something, Dan. If you, I'd have, and I shouldn't say, but I'd have accepted a draw before the game because I thought, I know, here we go. Sargent's going to bag one. We're going to
Yep.
collapse. But no, I think they were
Shout
resolute.
out
I
to Gaz,
think.
by the way.
Say that again. Sorry.
Shout out to Gaz.
Oh, guys. Yeah, well, I hope we see him again on his travels, Dan. But no,
Exactly.
coming back to the Norwich game. I know you got PISS early on, but I just thought their flowing football was ace at times, Dan. And I
Yeah.
thought that they showed a lot of football nous. I thought that every single one of them played a part. I thought that Egan was unlucky, and so going into the Millwall game, I thought, you know what, if we can go to Norwich and do that, we'll turn
Yeah.
Millwall over. It just goes to show just be careful with with your score predictions, especially me. And I think that just goes to show how difficult and challenging the CFL Championship really is.
Exactly. Before we carry on, let's look at the platform to one only, Jason Wiggler Jr.
Oh, this could be interesting.
Okay then, hello and welcome to the makeshift setup. Thanks a lot to the All Things Midlands lads for having me on. I've been asked to talk about the Millwall game and the season in general and how it's gone so far. And overall, we have had a good start to the season. We are within touching distance of the top six. We're currently sat in 7th place, I believe, 4 points off the top two, which I'm perfectly happy with. My expectations going into the season, to be honest, I don't really know what they were, because Ryan Mason was very much an unknown package coming into the season. We didn't know what we were going to get, how he was going to set up, what play style he had, what identity we were going to have. And I don't think we should overreact and get away from the fact that we've had a good start after that Millwall game. Don't get me wrong, we were battered at Millwall and it wasn't good enough. It wasn't an acceptable performance. We cannot be putting in shifts like that anymore. I really thought that spineless mentality had gone. I thought we'd eradicated it in the summer when we got so many of those people that would... People we typically associate and label with that idea of being spineless and gutless. But you know what? Yes, we lost 3-0, and that's really annoying. I was there, I would know. But you can't get away from the fact we have had a good start. We got 14 points. We put in some really good shifts, some really good away performances before that. We were the best away side in the league going into that game, having taken 9 points from a possible 12. And the games we have lost, other than Millwall, we have been competitive in. If Middlesbrough... we didn't set up the way we did and basically didn't play a first half, we definitely could have got something from that, because I don't think Middlesbrough were at their best. Derby, we absolutely battered and found a way to lose like we always do to Derby County, so there's nothing really new there. The only problem I'd have at the minute is, and I said it the other day, we seem to have lost our way a bit and lost our identity. Earlier in the season, I think it was clear to see what Ryan Mason was trying to do and the way he was implementing his ideas and what the system was. We were a side that wanted to dominate the ball, be good in possession, comfortable on it, dictate tempo, and attempt to create chances and put balls in the box as much as we possibly could. And then when we went away from home, again, we attempted to take the game to our opposition. There was no sitting back. There was no fearing teams. We were deploying on the front foot and taking it to the other team. And we seem to have lost our way a bit recently. We're looking a bit more fragile, a bit frail, and we're setting up a bit more defensively, which seems not to be suiting us. And I don't really know why he's done that. It seems ever since we lost to Derby, which was Ryan Mason's first loss in the league as West Bromwich Albion manager, he seems to be a little bit scared. And that will become a problem for him, because at the end of the day, you can't go into it with a frail mentality. You need to be a strong head as a manager. And if we don't start showing signs and start to re-find our identity, the fans will turn. It will become an issue. Fans won't accept performances like we put in at Millwall. It's not good enough to go to the Den away, not even be competitive, have one shot on target all game that comes in the last quarter of the match and lose 3-0. That's not good enough. But you've got to give Ryan Mason time. It is a project. You have to back him. Bill could have backed him. We need to back him. We've had a good start, I feel. Let's not overreact to Millwall. Preston's going to be a tough game. They're going to come in. They're going to sit in. We know how Hecky likes to set up. They're going to want to hit us on counter-attacks, utilise their pace, and maybe nick a 1-0. What we need to do is we need to dictate the tempo, dictate the flow, and take the game to them. That's the important thing. Show these fans that there's something to be excited about. We need to get bums off seats, not on seats. And I really do think we can do that, because I think we've got the ability to do that. I think a bit of a change of the team. Gilchrist coming in. I think Madge should come in, whether that be as a 2 up top or as a 10 behind Hegerberg, which I'll be really happy to see. Bring in Gilchrist, because Campbell's been really struggling. He started off really good at the Albion, but he has really dropped off in recent times, and he looks a real lacking confidence. I wouldn't change the midfield. I'll revert back to the old midfield of Martin Malumbi. I think that's the pivot that works the best. And bring in Illan Jr., because he is our biggest threat. He gets us up the pitch. He creates. You saw the goal he scored against Leicester. He injects pace into the side, unlike a certain Jed Wallace, and I think it's something we're going to need against Preston. But I think people need to not overreact. I don't think we need to be worried yet. Let's not hit panic stations. There's a lot to be excited about. Let's have faith.
Well, never a dull moment with the Wheelers when the Wheelers are involved, when the Wheelers are in town. You've got to give it to him, Dan. 100% passion. Yeah, if only the players.
Love it, Jace. Thanks for the video.
Thank you, mate.
But listen, as we'll go on, Dan, about season as a whole, what you thought so far? I'm going to ask.
I think that if you'd give me the position that we're in now at the start of the season, I'd have accepted it. I think there's been more positives than negatives. I think that the style of football is refreshing. I think that the players we've got, they do offer something, Dan, and I think there's a lovely team bonding between them all. Obviously, they're in it together. I actually think that Mason does take the defeat personally. You can see him when he's on the interviews. At least he's committed to the Albion, but don't forget it's his future at stake. Exactly. But no, all in all, Dan, if I was given a score report, I would say good, but can do much better. I think that a lot of the players now they've settled in, and they need to show what they're all about. I think the youngsters of Collier and I think Illing Jr. have got something to offer. And I think that Madger, my honest opinion is I think Madger will go in the transfer window, I do.
You reckon?
I get the impression he's not happy, but if he can bag them goals in, great. I think we've now come to the time where we're going to have to write Daryl DK off, unfortunately, because he's just hemorrhaging money out of the club. I think that, something, Dan, I want to see someone in midfield, a tough tackler, a real
Yeah.
nasty bug. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I completely agree.
All in all, I'm happy. Yeah,
Overall, I'm happy as well. I think at the start of the season, people weren't too sure realistically where we're about we're going to be. I mean, someone commented to the Millwall video, shout out to the Millwall fans, saying that Millwall finished top half and we'll finish lower half. So again, people don't know at this moment of time. But again, if we had that happen, would you be happy if finished lower half, Dad? Was it work in progress or what?
I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. I really
Yeah.
don't. I think we've got a lot to learn. I think we'll be stronger there next season. But again, what worries me is I think that you only need a few injuries coming in. I mean, over the Christmas period, we've got games thick and fast. I think once we start having injuries, or a loss, well, I'm going to say loss of form on Millwall, they all lost the form. But no, I think that the future's bright for us. We mustn't be too down. It's early days.
Is the
There's
future
only a
Ryan
few.
Mason, as you say?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, crikey, Dan, if you listen to Sir Jim Radcliffe at Man United, they're going to give that clown 3 years, so we'll give
Oh,
Mason
yeah.
5 years. No, but no, joking apart, I'm happy with what I see. I think the club have backed Mason. They've gone out, they've been bold. They haven't had the same tried and tested, literal carousel of normal managers. He's young, he's hungry. Yes, he's cutting his teeth. And you know what, Dan? If I was Mason's probably saying to him, well, look, you've appointed me. Trust me. I've got to be given time. I could do with a new midfield. I could do with a centre forward. So no, I'm happy. I would be interested to hear the viewers' points on this, and I'd be interested to see who the starting 11s or our best team, because we're in it together, Dan. Still love the baggies.
Can you also, guys, in the
Dan,
comment section down below, can you please leave your ratings on the transfer window? I've got to ask you, Dad. Do you think, again, was it a really good one, or are we showing the lack of wingers?
showing the lack of wingers, crikey O'Reilly. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Dan. Totally agree with that. I mean, we've got to move on from fellas, but there's no one supplying the balls, a decent quality ball after ball after ball.
That's
It
your problem,
wasn't.
isn't it? Because, of course, you got Tamabani who's still out. You not play it. Listen, you love his chant, but Colin Grant, he's still missing any 6 weeks out. I don't know when he's coming back. He's a player who we're really missing at this moment of the time. So there's so many players
Yeah,
on the injury table, and it's showing our worth from the wings where we haven't really got much depth on the bench to bring on.
I agree with that. So we're in a situation whereby Mason is he's trying the best with the squad that he's got. But you are right. I didn't see many situations at Millwall whereby we were either crossing from the left, crossing to the right, and nobody was there. We simply weren't crossing them.
No, we weren't at all, were we? And I also
But
got to
that's our
mention
biggest threat.
this
That's been
season,
our
Dad,
biggest.
it's so much up for grabs. Coventry are top of the table, Middlesbrough in there, Stoke City are in there, Bristol City, QPR, the lot. And realistically, Dad, if you take Championship by the scruff from this moment in time, you could see yourself in the top two. Can you see us doing that? And can you see us doing that, viewers?
I don't think we can. I don't think we can. I think it's surprising that I think are Coventry going to run away with it? No, they won't. They'll have a blip. I can see us beating Coventry, to be honest with you, because I think that.
Wow.
And it ironic, Dan, the best I've seen the Albion was against Leicester, and we lost
Well, we drew.
this season.
Well, we drew
Can
the
you
away,
believe?
yeah, of course. And they've
Sorry,
got close.
Mark. I say lost. We just didn't switch
Feels
on.
like one, don't it, though?
Yeah, I mean Wrexham. Look at the surprise they've been. They haven't turned the world upside down. The Sheffield clubs, Dan. So yeah, I agree. I tell you who the dark horses are.
Go on.
QPR.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
who
I would
yeah,
probably bet that actually, like Coney at top for nothing. We should have signed him actually. I
yeah, I
mean,
know, yeah.
before we go, I've got to ask you quickly. Is your man Steve Bruce set from Blackpool?
Yeah, I think Steve Bruce I think he should call it a day now, do you? I think
Yeah.
that I don't think that he needs the money. Obviously, why put himself through it? So now, good luck to Steve Bruce. You know what? I'd probably retire now. I'd
Yeah,
just,
and another one for you, Dad. Of course, I remember speaking to you about Sebastian Pocagnoli. He was a former left back for Albion, the one who was actually I don't know, I think it's Union ST, the one who played in Newcastle in the Championship, Champions League when we watched it in the pub. He's now on his way down to Monaco to manage him.
wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
Wow, and it's funny, Dan. Some of the people that have been at the club, right, have gone on to bigger and better things. All right, admittedly, there's not many. But yeah, wouldn't it be lovely just to see us climb that table
I know.
when players want to come to the Albion and we get some more investment? Because let's be honest, Dan, our forward line, we need somebody with a bit of oomph, somebody to put that ball in the back of the net. I mean, dare I say, I was watching bloody Ipswich, Norwich the weekend. You see the
Yeah,
goalkeeper I scored. I
yeah,
nearly
no,
broke
yeah. It
my
reminded
back.
me of the goal against Middlesbrough that he scored for
Yeah, I
us.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Anyway, listen, we're alive, we're kicking, we're well. We love the Albion like thousands of others. I'll tell you what I would like to see people commenting, give us their opinion on what they think of the season so
exactly.
far and our best spot starting lineup. By a long shot down. And I'll tell you what, when are you going to get all things Midlands on the road? Because I'll tell you
Don't
one
you
thing
worry.
I'll tell
Soon
you one thing
as
I've noticed. Tell you one thing I've noticed about you.
gone.
You, I mean, we're not advocating this by any means. Your drinking is getting way out of hand.
My drinking. Well, listen, we'll see on the videos who'll be drinking next time, my old son. But what I might just say is, well, make sure as well, guys, put down in the comment section down below. If you want to come on the videos, put it down in the comment section, and our email I'll put in the description down below, and also our socials. Make sure you look at them if you can. Dan, anything else to say to the viewers before we go?
Yeah, enjoy this dreadful international break. Stay fit, stay healthy, and I'll tell you what, our love for the Albion will never ever die. The Lord is our shepherd, Dan. And what time is it?
It's
It's showtime.
showtime. Like, subscribe, and peace.